John Matthews' hands were raw, cracked, and stained with the work of 3 relentless jobs every day. He rose before the sun kissed the horizon and returned. Home long after the world had gone quiet, the worn-out soles of his shoes were a testament to miles walked, floors scrubbed, and shelves stocked yet, despite. The exhaustion etched into his body and the ache that never left his back. John's eyes held a steady flame, a burning determination to give his daughter, Emily, a life he could only dream of. Emily was 12, a bright, inquisitive girl. With soft curls and eyes that reflected her father's quiet strength, she didn't care about the clothes she wore or the food on the table as long as she had her father by her side. But John knew that life in their small home in Cincinnati, Ohio, was anything but easy. Bills piled up faster than his paycheck. The leaky roof threatened every rainy night, and the old washing machine groaned like a wounded animal every time it ran. John worked at the diner in the mornings, delivered packages in the afternoon, and cleaned offices late at night. Sleep was a fleeting luxury, and yet he never let his fatigue dampen the love he poured into Emily. Before we dive deeper, if you believe in kindness, sacrifices, and second chances, please take a moment to like this video, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. It truly helps stories like this reach those who need hope. John's life had always been a quiet struggle, a series of invisible battles fought behind closed doors most days. He returned home to Emily's homework sprawled across the table, her tiny hands gripping a pencil as she tried to make sense of long division, or a science project. He would sit beside her, rubbing his sore shoulders and trying to explain fractions, or the difference between atoms and molecules. Emily often noticed the dark circles under his eyes, and the way he tried to mask his exhaustion with a smile, but she never complained. She simply hugged him tightly, whispering, "I love you, Dad, we'll be okay." And so they persevered, the two of them against the world. But life, as it often does, was unrelenting. One particularly cold December, John's car broke down, leaving him scrambling for bus fares to make it to all 3 of his jobs. The heat in their small apartment faltered, leaving Emily shivering under 2 blankets while he sat on the floor, arms wrapped around his knees, trying not to let despair creep in. It was in those moments, with the shadows of failure pressing in from every side, that John wondered if all the sacrifices were worth it. Yet he never gave up. Every paycheck went toward rent, groceries, and Emily's small but precious dreams: a new pair of shoes for school, art supplies, a ticket to see the ballet she had been begging to attend. John never told her how much he was sacrificing, because he didn't want her to carry the weight of his worries. He just smiled through the pain, as he always had. Emily, on the other hand, was beginning to notice things in her own way. She noticed the way her father's hands trembled slightly as he poured himself coffee in the early hours, the way his back would ache after a long shift, the quiet sighs he tried to hide when he thought she wasn't looking. Her heart ached for him, but she also knew that she could not change their reality alone. Instead, she decided to work quietly in her own small way, saving coins from her allowance, doing extra chores for neighbors, and helping her father whenever she could. Every small gesture was her way of saying thank you, though she could never truly repay him. Years passed in this rhythm of tireless work and quiet perseverance. John's sacrifices were uncelebrated, invisible to the outside world, but Emily grew up under a canopy of love that no one could measure. High school graduation loomed, and Emily, now a teenager, found herself at a crossroads. She had inherited her father's quiet resilience and worked hard at school, often staying up late to finish projects, because she knew how much her father had given up so she could succeed. Then came the day that would change everything. John was cleaning the office of a local law firm late into the night, his back screaming in protest, when Emily sent him a text. "Dad, come home early, I need to show you something." Curiosity piqued. John hurried home, leaving his mop and bucket behind. He entered their modest apartment, the familiar scent of home mingling with the faint aroma of the small dinner Emily had prepared for him. His heart swelled at the sight, but he quickly noticed an envelope lying on the kitchen table, addressed in Emily's neat handwriting. With trembling hands, John picked it up. Inside were several sheets of paper, each detailing Emily's plans and dreams, but not in the way he had expected. She had been accepted into a prestigious scholarship program at a university in New York, an opportunity that would cover her tuition, room, and board. But more than that, Emily had written a heartfelt letter expressing her gratitude for every sleepless night he had endured, every meal skipped, Every shift he had worked to ensure she had a life filled with opportunity. She had included a small savings account she had been quietly building. From her part-time jobs, determined to give back a fraction of what her father had given her, tears blurred John's vision as he read the words. Each sentence felt like a balm for the years of struggle, each paragraph a silent acknowledgement of a father's love that had never wavered. Emily had not only recognized his sacrifices but had found a way to honor them in the most profound way possible. The little girl who once hugged him and whispered, "We'll be okay," had become a young woman with a plan to repay the world and her father for the love he had given so freely. John sank into the kitchen chair. Unable to speak, he felt an overwhelming mixture of pride, relief, and joy. For the first time in years, the weight he had carried seemed to lift, replaced by a sense of fulfillment that no amount of labor could have bought. He realized that the struggles, the long nights, the aching body, they had all been worth it. Emily's success was a reflection of his sacrifices, and her love was the reward he had been waiting for. All along the next morning, Emily woke him with a breakfast tray, her own small gesture of love. She didn't need to speak. The unspoken understanding between them filled the room. John hugged her tightly, realizing that the cycle of care and sacrifice had come full circle. Emily, who had grown up seeing her father as a hero, had found a way to be his hero in return. John's story is not unique, but it is extraordinary in its quiet heroism. Countless parents around the world sacrifice everything for the ones they love, often unseen and unappreciated. But Emily's story reminds us that love, dedication, and perseverance can ripple across generations, creating moments of profound beauty that are felt long after the struggles have passed. If this story has touched your heart, please consider liking this video, sharing it with someone you love, and subscribing to our channel for more heartwarming tales. Your engagement helps these stories reach people who need hope and inspiration. Before we end, I'd love to hear from you. Comment below with a moment when someone's love or sacrifice changed your life. Your stories matter, and they deserve to be shared. John's eyes filled with tears as he watched Emily leave for New York, suitcase in hand, ready to face the world she had dreamed of. He waved until she disappeared from view, feeling a mix of longing and pride. For the first time in his life, he allowed himself to breathe, to relax, to let the years of toil and hardship sink into memory. Emily had not just survived because of him. She had thrived, and in doing so, she had reminded him that every sacrifice made in love is never wasted. In that moment, John understood the true power of hope, dedication, and a love so deep it could withstand every storm. He had worked 3 jobs, carried a lifetime of burdens, and yet it was in seeing his daughter soar that he found his own wings. The quiet apartment felt lighter now, the air filled with unspoken gratitude, dreams, and the promise of tomorrow. John smiled through his tears, knowing that the story of his struggle and his daughter's triumph would forever be a testament to the extraordinary power of love.